The city of Columbus has filed a lawsuit against the state of Ohio for what the city says is an unconstitutional infringement of the city's home rule power. The bill, which takes effect March 28th, shifts the burden of proof in self-defense cases, but it also expands a section of the revised code that preempts local gun regulations, adding that the state also may preempt local laws that regulate the manufacture, taxation, keeping and reporting of loss or theft of firearms and ammunition. That's a direct hit on a 2018 city ordinance that includes a ban on firearms manufacturers in residentially zoned areas. City Attorney Zach Klein, in announcing the lawsuit, said that local is better.
It doesn't matter what the issue is. Cities have the ability to govern themselves and think and do what is best for our citizens. That's the basic tenet of local control and representative democracy.
Michael Miller, as a former county prosecutor, is there an argument to be made for the state preempting these kinds of laws? There
is. I mean, there's arguments to be made both ways on it. The state passes the felony laws, and you can't have something that's more than that. It's grounded in constitutional law for a long time. I don't know how this is going to come out. I think it's a good argument for the city. I frankly kind of hope they win, because I don't like the law at all, particularly this thing that you mentioned earlier on the changing of the self-defense argument. I mean, my whole life, not that things don't need to change, but the burden has been on the defendant, who argues proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he argues he's insane by preponderance of the evidence. Now, to turn this around, insanity or self-defense, and say that the burden is on the prosecution to prove self-defense was not an issue beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, I think it's the gun lobby, basically, what's done it, and I think it's just crazy. So I wish Columbus good luck in this. I know they're just interested in the more narrow thing of the gun control and so forth, but I hope that they win it. But an argument can be made on either side of this.
You know, the root issue here, they say the lawsuit's actually about the authority of local zoning. They're not talking about the gun law. They're saying that it's preempting local zoning laws, and it's not the only example, Joe Ingles, of this Ohio General Assembly butting in on the locals.
Sure, if that was the case, we wouldn't have the law that went into effect that said you can't have a Grove City. They made that law about the pet stores, and the pet stores couldn't have puppies from Petland, right? And so the General Assembly comes back, and a couple of years ago, they put through a law and says, well, you can't do that. You can't regulate that. So, I mean, there are many, many times that the General Assembly has come back and said that home rule doesn't fit, that you can't do that. And this is one of them. The thing that's different this time is having a gun and Second Amendment rights are very important because they're in the Constitution. So because that's in the Constitution, the lawmakers feel like, they're protecting the rights of Ohioans to carry guns and be able to have guns and use guns as they are allowed under the Constitution.
But ultimately, does the issue matter beyond the root cause?
No, I think Joe's right. There's a series of things that the environmental stuff that they did.
The fracking.
The fracking, all that stuff. They just made all sorts of. But if you read the Constitution in Article 18, it specifically says that the cities have rights, I'm paraphrasing here, have rights to make rules that are germane to them. So it is in the Constitution that it should be like this, but somehow the General Assembly's constantly found a way to skirt this. I hope the city of Columbus wins too, because I think it sets a precedent, and we've had other examples. Somebody needs to fight back with regards to this.
It tends to be Jesse Balmer, an urban versus rural kind of a thing. It's usually usurping the authority of the big cities to do things.
Well, I think it's largely the big cities that are putting tighter regulations on guns in particular, because of incidents that have been happening there, or just because people are in a tighter, more compact space. It'll be really interesting. The argument that the gun folks always make is that they want to have some consistency. You don't want to drive from one city to the next city and not know what the rules are in that particular area. But I do think it'll be interesting if Columbus is able to prevail. I think you'll see cities like Cincinnati jumping on board as well.
Are there other issues, do you think? I mean, because they're tapping into this zoning issue. It's not about guns per se or the manufacture of guns or anything like that. It's about a zoning law. They've had a local zoning law, and who better to do that than a local zoning commission?
Right.
Right.
But what is that? Plessy versus Ferguson
Yep.
is the foundation of that. I think that's a way to attack it, because fundamentally there's nothing different about a gun, right to have a gun, than controlling how land use is used. Fundamentally, it's the same.
Well, and the same thing with the fracking, that
Right.
it banned efforts to regulate or control or zone fracking.
But I think you make a point that's much more salient. It's an urban versus rural. And the General Assembly of Ohio is dominated by rural communities, and most of the leadership is from the rural communities. So their choice of word, their oppression of the cities is meaningless to them, or changing rules or controlling cities and making these rules.
It doesn't affect them.
It doesn't affect them.